The Fortress of Louisbourg National Historic Site of Canada sits on the coast of Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia, and holds a unique record. It is the largest reconstruction of an 18th century fortified French town in North America. Yet only 1/5 of it stands uncovered, leaving significant historical information and an abundance of artifacts buried beneath its soil. So now archaeologists are working to uncover 3 sites, 2 of which will provide insight to the presence of both French and English colonies at the Fortress of Louisbourg nearly 300 years ago.
We are excavating 2 powder magazines, one a New Englander and one a French powder magazine. And we're trying to figure out the construction techniques and how they're different, and if the New Englander one was used as a church at some point in time after the Second Siege.
Now, originally it would also have been surrounded, it was like a big masonry structure. The walls are about 3 meters thick, big buttresses extending out, so should there be an explosion inside, the buttresses would contain the explosion and sort of keep it from, blowing too far and wide. So it had 5 big buttresses on each side of these massive walls. Inside would have been sort of a brick-arched chamber inside, again sort of keeping the implosion sort of controlled. And outside that, it should have had a stone wall, maybe about 15 or 12 or 15 feet away from the wall itself. There would have been vents in the structure, the roof would have been wood or slate, I'm not sure. And powder magazines inside probably had a wooden floor, and racks for storing the barrels. But no metal. You wouldn't have found nails. Everything would have been like pegs and other sort of wooden fasteners. You didn't want any metal inside a powder store where you could have any kind of spark ignition.
But oftentimes, crews will find unexpected and interesting discoveries, which provide answers for the archaeologists. From a small piece of glass to a rusty nail, artifacts can show up in places where they shouldn't be.
Found a lot of pieces of glass over behind me in the New Englander powder magazine, and that is probably an indication that it was multi-use. It was used for something else after it was used for a powder magazine, because a powder magazine wouldn't have had any windows in it. So the fact that we're finding window glass and a pipe stem fragment says that it was probably used for something else, because nobody would have been smoking around the gunpowder. And as well as the nails, they wouldn't have used nails in its construction either, so we have some indications that it was multi-use. Whether or not it was used for a church, we don't know yet.
But it's not only shovels that are uncovering these unexpected artifacts. Environmental changes are threatening the ruins at this site, and crews have to move quickly.
Yes, especially when you're dealing with coastal erosion, because the coastline it recedes erratically. A storm can do a lot of damage in one area all of a sudden very quickly, or it can happen very slowly and sort of incremental recession and regression. Yeah, it's difficult to anticipate sometimes what you're going to stumble across. And in the past, I think it was difficult to get understanding of just how much erosion happened since the 18th century. Now we have the technology, we can do these overlays with GIS and stuff, and we can get a better picture of what might be coming up.
And by harnessing the power of this technology and even traditional archaeological research, studies have proven that sea level has risen at least 85 centimeters since the 18th century, leading to the loss of 50 to 60 feet of land. So to prevent the loss of any valuable information, Parks Canada must uncover the sites they can to gather and preserve the history and artifacts still available before ocean waves drag them into the sea.
So what we want to do is get an understanding of the structure in its entirety, in its completeness, before it gets sort of overtaken by this cobble beach and by the waves, etc. Once the cobble beach moves in, you're not going to see this feature again. It's going to, erosion will happen. You just won't see it as much because it'll be hidden under all this massive material. It'll be lost. So we just want to make sure that we have it well recorded, its dimensions, how it was constructed, how much was left over the siege. What other functions of the building, like if it was used for anything else, sort of modified into anything else after it was sort of not used as a powder magazine.
So while they can, these crews will work toward uncovering the wealth of information hidden beneath the sod, carefully recording and preserving everything they find. And while these sites may soon be swallowed by the sea, the archaeologists can rest easy knowing that the information that they find will be used to enlighten and educate people for generations to come, and to add to the ever-growing history of the Fortress of Louisbourg National Historic Site of Canada.